Hello. Hello, LA2M.
So this is going to be much lighter for you.
Yeah, this is
It's a minute afternoon. We should get started, so I'll say good afternoon to you guys. Happy to have you here. We have a really exciting speaker, and we'll talk about him in a second. But first of all, I want to say, any new people today? Okay, great. Well, we'll get to know you, and that's the good part about this. My name is Kevin Gillespie. I'm COO of Ingenix Digital Marketing. I'm filling in for Derek today because he's somewhere else. And so we're going to have a good show. Like I said, this is except you guys, but most people know that this is a nonprofit educational organization. We're self-funded. Stacy, our treasurer, will pass our bucket. And if you don't mind, you don't have to put anything in, but we sort of think $3 is sort of where it can be. So we'll pass the bucket around. Format today, of course, is what we normally do. Amanda Brewington will speak for us. I'm going to introduce her again. And then she'll go for half an hour. We'll go 15 minutes of question and answer. And then we'll have everyone go around the room and talk about who they are and what they do and how they can help and what help they might need. So, Amanda Brewington, ladies and gentlemen. She's the music supervisor at Harvest Creative, which is an absolutely phenomenal company up in Lansing that's a real creative solution shop. They started out as a music house, original composition and recording studio, and they've grown into a very powerful creative solutions. They do concepting, they do production, they do post-production, obviously do a lot of music, and they do a lot of music supervision. So Amanda will talk about that. But Amanda's a fantastic person. Very, very knowledgeable about music and advertising and music in your life, which is, I think, really know. And let's give her a big round of applause for Amanda Brewington. Whoa. We have a sponsor today. I forgot that. Tammy Burgess of Women Making Connections is our sponsor. You want to give us 2 seconds of what we've got going on? Sorry.
Hi, I'm Tammy Burgess with Women Making Connections. We have a company that helps business women build relationships through fun and social events, but we've also included men, so if you'd like to join us, we have face-to-face powerful networking for men and women. Next Thursday, we're doing a Tee It Up for Women at Redmond Farms Golf Course, and then in June, we're doing the tipping point, and whether or not you've met yours, and if you'd like to know more about that, you can join us at Rematch on Eisenhower. And I don't know if the flyers are still out on the back table, but if you put in LA2M in the discount code, it's a 2-for-1 deal. So come to the tipping point on June 7th and use LA2M as your discount code. Thanks.
Thanks, Tammy. Again, ladies and gentlemen, Amanda Brewington.
Can everybody hear me? I'll just stand with the lights in my eyes. Can everybody hear me? Mm-hmm. Everybody has the ability to hear. We've established that? Mm-hmm. Okay, good. We're going to talk about music. To enjoy music, you have to hear. So there's that. Now, I know you're all eating and you're really into, food's good, awesome. Just take a minute, close your eyes, if you will, and think back to a memory you have of a jingle in a commercial. You can go 20 years back, 15 years back, even 5 years, last week. If you don't have a good memory, that's fine too. Do you hear something? Is there a definite sound in your head?
Sure.
All right, well, I'm going to go out on a limb. You can open your eyes now. I'm going to go out on a limb and say that while that I'm sure is a great product, it's not the product that makes you remember whatever you heard. Raceroni is great, but it's not why I remember the San Francisco treat. It's because it's the San Francisco treat. It's the melody. It's the power of that. And I've never been to Chili's, but I know that they serve baby back ribs. I mean, that's in there. It's in there forever. And so that's what we're going to talk about is the power of music and the power for it to ingrain it in your head and remain there forever. And it's a really powerful tool. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about my life and kind of why I love music and how I got into it. And also about some guidelines, for things you can think about when picking songs for advertising. I know this crowd's advertising, marketing, so that may happen, and some examples as well. So I'm going to get into it, and I'm going to leave that pretty blank for the most part, because I want you guys to just listen and be with me, and then hopefully we'll have a fun and exciting adventure. As Kevin said, my name is Amanda Brewington, and I grew up in Romulus, Michigan. If you don't know where Romulus is, this is the part where I ask you, have you been to the airport? Have you been to the Detroit Metro Airport? My friends, you've been to Romulus. Major exports of Romulus include backup dancers, reality TV show folks, and also Terry Mills from the Pistons during the teal jersey period. We don't talk about that too much, teal jerseys. But besides that, it's mostly just a normal small town with a huge airport in the center of it. So often you have to drive around the airport to get places. So say you have a friend and they live over here, you live over here, and your mom has to drive you around the airport to get to Susie's house or whoever. This can be a 20, 30-minute drive just to get to your friend's house who you go to school with every day. What do you do when you're in the car all the time? You listen to the radio. So that is how I first got into music, was listening to the radio. Just listening and discovering music that way. And actually part of that, it was hard for me to adapt to the iPod. Believe it or not, folks. It was hard for me to get there because the iPod is very I. It's, I load music in, I like the music. Oops, sorry. I like the music, I know what I put in there, I'm going to like the next song probably. The thing I love about radio and why I still, most of the time, just pop in my car and listen to the radio is because the DJ is there. He's talking to you, he's introducing you to new music that you may not have heard or music that you can discover. And before the internet, that's how we discovered music, was radio. So that, radio was a very big part of my life. The other major part of my life as a child that got me into music was music videos. You remember those? They used to play them on MTV, VH1. Now you just go on YouTube and look them up if they still make them. But there were these little bonuses that you got to see. And I was like 4 or 5 years old. I had babysitters who were teenagers. And they would make me a deal. Okay, you finish your homework. You eat your TV dinner. I'll let you stay up late and watch Madonna's Vogue. Don't tell your mom about that top she's wearing. That is a childhood memory very vivid in my mind. And videos, they brought that. They brought something extra. They brought, you could watch the band perform. I was 4 or 5 years old. I could go to concerts. That was amazing. There were these great little bonuses that, we don't have as much anymore. So that's kind of how I got into music. Besides that, I grew up, I left Romulus, and I went to college at a place, it's a college near Lansing. They have some colors, green and something, but I know where I am, so I'm not going to get into all that. While I was in college, though, I interned and worked in radio and in marketing, and slowly progressed into selecting music for radio programs. And then I made the move to selecting music for commercials. And that's what I do today. And as Kevin mentioned, I work at Harvard's Creative Services. And we're a small company, we're about 10 people, but we're growing, which is great in this economy because, most companies, I have friends yesterday who emailed me, they're laid off, they're looking for work. I'm going to be a company, we just hired someone last month. So, that's a really great place to be. And the really cool part about being part of a small company is you get to be part of the entire process. The bad part about working for a small company, you have to be part of the entire process. But what's cool is I don't just do music supervision, I also manage projects. I get to brainstorm meetings about what we're going to write, what we're going to do, kind of see an entire idea where it happens and where it goes. So it's a really cool place, and I like it there. One more thing you should know about me before I really dive into it is I love Detroit. I absolutely love Detroit. I'm from Romulus, which is Metro Detroit. And last April, I had an idea, just an idea, hey, I love Detroit, I want more people to know about Detroit, specifically Belle Isle, is a place that I've gone my entire life. And I said, let's have an event on Belle Isle and get people out to it who've never seen the island before. And it was just an idea in April, and by August, it was a reality. We had about 400 people come out to the event, we had 9 bands play, 14 community organizations come out and, promote themselves. It was just amazing, the community that was created in that day. So if you have any ideas you're sitting on and you think, I have this great idea, but I don't know if I can do it, go out and do it, please. Help the world, help make the world a better place, and you will feel great. You will feel amazing doing it. So that's about me. I'm going to give you a water. Oh, it's talking. All right, so who knew, right? Yeah. So, on to happier, lighter subjects. That's my niece, Brooklyn. She was born on Valentine's Day of this year. She's 3 months old, and she is the best communicator that I know. She is great. She is happy all the time. And the only reason why she's not happy is because she needs a diaper change or she needs to be fed. That's it. The rest of the time, she just can lay in her crib, stare at a mobile. She does mobile, plays Jiggle Stars, goes around real slow. She just stares at it, and she's amazed. She's content. She's happy with this mobile, this simple life, and it's great. So last weekend, well, actually 2 weekends ago now, I was hanging out with her, And I realized, the persistent complaint from most adults that I know, and not everybody, there isn't that people, but is that I gotta have something, I gotta have everything, I gotta have my iPhone, I gotta have my iPad, I gotta, I gotta have a nice car, I gotta have the house, there's all these wants and these haves, and you're not happy until you have this or that or whatever it is. And so, you gotta stay ahead of that curve too. There's that, you want to make sure that you know about things and you're on it, and you just get so caught up in it. I mean, it's a little bit overwhelming. Like, just get a little overwhelmed with, oh, I gotta have this, or I gotta have that, or what have you. And I really think that it gets too difficult. You just need to, you not only have to do that, but you also have to be original and creative in this advertising environment. You don't not only have to remember things, learn things, have things, but you also have to remember all that and then step out of it and be creative and original and amazing and fresh all the time. And, that's a little bit of a tall order, I think. Anybody else? All that. And so I think when I get, we're a tough crowd. We've got quick whips, we've got, watch 30 Rock, we watch Arrested Development, we're those people, we have all that information. But the real way to keep it real, keep it fresh, be relatable to people, is to just be yourself. Be in the moment. Just, be who you are. Don't think about the iPad and this, I got this clever comeback, I got this. Just be you. Just be who you are. Be simple, and like I said, think like Brooklyn. Just keep it simple. So that's a big thing for me that I remind myself daily. So that's that. Back to what I do. I do music supervision, and I talked about that. But part of being a music supervisor, and I think all of you, marketing, advertising, crowd, part of your job is being connected with people. And, reaching out to people. For me, I reach out to major labels, independent labels, artists, and then I also reach out to advertisers, brands we work with. So I'm, keeping up with all these people. But the other task is, as I mentioned earlier, staying on top of it. And it's funny, but one time an intern was describing what I do at Harvest to somebody, and they said, well, Amanda's just paid to know about pop culture and stuff. And I was like, I am? Really? But then it made me think, I do need to know what hit song is happening right now. I need to know what song happened before, because, if I don't, I'm going to be like, hey, I have this great idea. Oh, that happened last week. That's not enough there. So you need to know your audience. You need to know who they are, what they're about, what they're into, what they've been into, what they hate. You need to know all those things and know the history behind it. For example, if you take a song from the 80s and you're promoting some kind of product to someone who was born in the 90s, there's two things that can happen. They can latch onto it, they can Google that song and say, oh yeah, I've never heard this song, but this is great. Oh yeah, and they'll latch onto it and they'll be into it. Or they could Google it and say, what person picked this? This is horrible. This is so old. This is so dated. And so how do you stop the latter from happening? You got to make it special. The trick is to make it relatable to that audience and really make them think, wow, I can connect with this. This is to me. Yeah, it was made 20, 30 years ago, but I get it. And so that's why I love. Here we go. Waiting for drum roll. I love hip hop. I love hip-hop music, I love remixes, and sometimes people go, yeah, me too, and people are like, I don't know about that. So it really depends, but for me, the real reason why I love hip-hop is sampling. I love when they sample an old song and make it into something new. That way, that sample and that song, that new thing, is now relatable to a new audience, but also an older crowd can hear it, and they can go, hey, I remember that song, man, I remember in high school, that song was so great, it was my jam, and it's back. I mean, that's, you have a double whammy there. You can reach a new audience and you can reach an old audience. So that's really the challenge I put out there. Examples of this is Kanye West. His hit single, his breakthrough single was Through the Wire. That was Shaka Khan Through the Fire, sped up. He put it in there. So a lot of people in his audience group, in his younger audience group, don't know who Shaka Khan is. And all of a sudden they're jamming to this song and they don't even know. And so that brought that song to a whole new audience. And then an older crowd, Shaka Khan fans I knew, were like, wow, that's really weird. She sounds like a chipmunk, so sped up in that song. So, it can work both ways. Other examples, staying on Kanye West, he did a song on his second album called Gone. It's my favorite song on the album, where he features It's Too Late by Otis Redding, almost in its exact form, just for a few seconds at the beginning and throughout the song and the hook. And I loved Otis Redding, but I'd never heard that song, and now I love that. Now I love the Kanye West song, and now I love the Otis Redding song as well. So these are all just examples of ways you can take old things and make them into new. And so, I've lost track of the amount of people who have referenced Sam Cooke in their songs, and not just hip hop. Tupac, Nas, Snoop Dogg, the obvious people there, but also Jacob Dylan has referenced Sam Cooke. And most people I know, they don't know who Sam Cooke is, but they're listening to songs and they're singing along lyrics where he's mentioned by name in full. And most people my age, they don't remember the melody to Every Breath You Take by that song from the Police. They remember it as a song that Puff Daddy did for his fallen friend, Notorious B.I.G. So it all depends on how it's used and how it becomes relatable. So I often say to folks who think sampling and pop songs and using old stuff for new stuff, they don't think it's original, they don't think it's exciting or new. I say, don't look at it as a negative. Don't think, oh, it's been done, it's over, it's done. Think of it as an opportunity to bring an old song, old concept, to a new audience and make it your own. So, the truth is you can't always be new and exciting and original. You can try, if you can every day, congratulations. But if you can take something old and make it into something new, that's really it, being original. A good idea is always a good idea. Get rid of Brooklyn, so you're not staring at her. You just remember that. A lot of questions that we've hit to the clients and different things is, what does your brand sound like? And how do you figure out what your brand sounds like while using the obvious things that you can associate with your brand and still making it original? My favorite example of this that I still haven't seen for sure is Don't Stand So Close to Me. Now, that should be a deodorant commercial. That should be a breath away commercial. It makes so much sense. Or, if you listen to the verse, it could be, a PSA for not being too involved with your teacher, which is really what that song's about. But an example that isn't so obvious, but is a perfect fit in my mind now, is One Way or Another. One Way or Another, I'm going to get you. I didn't picture Dirt when I heard that song, but now Swiffer in 2004 took that song and made it on the commercials, and now, one way or another, I picture some woman chasing dirt with her mop. I didn't see that, but now it's in my head forever that dirt, go get your dirt, I'm going to get you one way or the other. It's there. And people don't forget, or at least the internet doesn't. As I mentioned previously, you do something with an older song, people are going to Google the song. And so even if people don't remember it, the internet keeps this amazing database of information. So looking at the whole song is definitely going to happen. My favorite example of not thinking that through, per se, is when the NFL used Morrissey, Every Day is Like Sunday, for football. Sounds great, football on Sunday, every day is like Sunday, sounds great. You listen to the rest of that song, and there's a line, come Armageddon, come. I would really want to put my product or service with Armageddon. That wouldn't be something that I would want to assimilate. But not me. It's a gray town. It's just not something you want to do. The other side of that is the advertisement the NFL aired with Every Day is Like Sunday. They had people eating burgers and hot dogs and guys out at a cookout. And Morrissey's like an avid animal activist. He's a vegetarian. The Smiths had no meat as a burger. There's not the kind of people talking about their music associated with meat, with that kind of thing. So that's kind of an example of what not to do when thinking about how to put your brand with music. An example we did that I think is almost so obvious is about a year ago we worked with an agency in Columbus, and they did Reunite. They wanted to use Reunited by Peaches and Herb, or Peaches and Herb, however you want to say that. Because I've heard both while I was working on it. They wanted, Reunited for Elmer's glue. Makes so much sense. Reunited, because you're uniting two materials. That's going to stick, pun intended. That's going to work. So, that was 2009 we did that, and that song's been used in other things. Never with glue, which seems like the almost too obvious example. State Farm right now is, at making their tag back into music. Like a Good Neighbor, State Farm is there, and they have people singing awkwardly, and their agents peering, and I'm sure you guys have seen that one. That tag, it's all in our heads, and we know that's State Farm, but originally it was a song. Barry Manilow wrote, Like We Made For You Were There for State Farm in the 70s. So it's like it was a song, then it was a tag, and now it's going back to a song. So, just to know a little bit of history, I guess, about State Farm. But the best ideas seem almost too obvious at times, or not rocket science. The latest example of not rocket science exploding, I'm sure you may know the Rebecca Black Friday song. That's not a genius song. I mean, it's partying on a Friday. It's, fun party. Those are not original ideas on a Friday night. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. She even sings the days of the week there. It's not rocket science, and that song is everywhere. I mean, it was in blogs. It was on television, different shows, The Soup making fun of it, Tosh Quinn making fun of it. And now that song, as silly as it is, and it sounds like we all just made fun of it, it's 141 million views, over 141 million views on YouTube. I'd say that's successful, even if people are mocking you. It's definitely a success, and again, not rocket science. So go with the simple, go with the obvious, but do the research. The audience won't forget, or at least the internet won't. But what's the point of all this? That's something we haven't really touched on. I've been talking about things, you guys are nodding, laughing, possibly going along with it. What's the point? A lot of brands lately, they just, here's my favorite example. Mellow Yellow has an ad out right now, and they're like, dude, let's drink Mellow Yellow while listening to Mellow Yellow. It's, that's actually the ad, and they start playing the music, and that makes sense. It's so obvious. But sometimes, ads, they'll say, oh, well, I love this song right now. It's my favorite song. And maybe some ad executive, maybe a music supervisor saying, oh yeah, we should put this song in an ad. But it doesn't really make sense, maybe. So you want to first, before you start thinking of great songs to put in your ads, figure out your goal. What are you trying to get your audience to do? Buy a product? How do you want them to remember? How do you want them to remember your brand? And so set a goal, and then develop a strategy, and go from there. I mean, music can be part of the overall strategy. It could be a mnemonic, a little sound that goes on the commercial. It could be a song that plays throughout the entire commercial, really drives the commercial. Or it could be, a song that is an entire campaign that's on multiple commercials, multiple things. There's lots of different ways to use music. So I'm going to talk about some of the examples. I'll give you guys some examples. Ways to use songs and mnemonics. I'm getting the time, so I'll hurry this up. But just give you some background. Some things that need music, that make sense, are themes for television. The Apprentice has, the OJs, For the Love of Money. If you go back a little bit farther, Cheers, Everybody Knows Your Name, it's a bar, it makes sense. They have these themes that build up the entire feeling of the show. Products and services sometimes aren't that lucky. You just have 30 seconds to introduce a product, get people to remember it, and go from there, and that's it. So sometimes mnemonic really makes a lot of sense. And if you don't know mnemonic, McDonald's is really good. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. That sound I just made, that's their mnemonic. The new one that I can't stop, I say it back to you when it happens, is Farmers Insurance. We are farmers, bum, 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 bum. That's a mnemonic. So that little sound, it's in there. It's in there forever, I think. So some examples, we did mnemonic for Meyer, and I'll play that for you. Just a quick little example of that. So at the end there, if you caught it, that dun dun dun, their slogan is higher standards, lower prices, so it's lower prices. So it's kind of the sound that goes with the words that are already established with the brand. Sometimes brands let the song be center stage. They let the song drive the commercial. This is really popular lately in automobile ads. I don't know if you've seen. There's the Subaru Forester has Sean Hayes. This is powerful stuff, and the song just plays through the entire ad. And they don't have any voiceover, they don't have anything, it's just like at the end, I think they say, okay, it's Subaru. That's it. The whole time, it's just the song driving it. They use Jonesy Go Do for Ford ad, and it just, it's the whole song, and then at the end, they say Ford. An example that we did recently for Blue Cross Blue Shield, stand over here, stay out of the light for a second. Blue Cross Blue Shield, they wanted a song, they didn't want to have a voiceover, so the whole ad is just, again, driven by music. So I'll show you an example of that. about a week ago, so you may have seen it, you might see it soon. There's equity in songs, though, established songs. I think the best example of that is Chevy, Like a Rock. Got to see here, totally makes sense. Truck, it's tough, Like a Rock, makes sense. You can use the equity in a song. A little less known example, Ben Lee did We're All in This Together is a song he has. It was used by Kohl's, Coca-Cola. I lost count. There's a ton of commercials, because who doesn't want their brand to be, people think, oh, I'm with that brand. We're all in this together. We're together. I mean, that's a great concept. And sometimes, if you use something that broad, it might be used in multiple places. So that's something to be aware of. If you want to find an original piece, or maybe, take a piece of music and completely just, it happens with your brand. Apple's a really good example of that. They use new songs that you haven't heard, and sometimes I hear people even say, oh yeah, I found that band, they were on an Apple commercial. I mean, so you can do that. The other side of that, if you want to use music to its full extent, is you can create a song, and that's something we do at Harvest as well, that will be the entire brand campaign. And my favorite example of that is 3 years ago now, I'm sorry. In 2008, the Detroit Free Press and Detroit News, we came up with a song that was, about this time, and it's happening, and they wanted to do bonuses. They wanted to have video footage synced up to it, so we had that bonus of images that the paper has recorded and different things. So I brought that to show you as well. I brought the full version, so I'll get right into that for you.
Today turns into yesterday, leaving only the words we say for this time. Till next time. The good times, the hard times, this time is our time. We're all in this together. Living in between the lines, what we take or leave behind forever or never. Watch it turn and fly away. Every hour each passing day, just in time. People here are always to have them very proud of you. The hard times, the hard times, this time is our time. Hold on to the best times, the days of our lifetime. And you and I together will change the country, change the world. This time, that is our future, is a choice.
Yeah, so the summer of 2008, that was everywhere. They did a media buy through all the major Detroit stores, events, everywhere. And that time to engage at the end, they actually used that in the print ads, billboard ads. The song kind of took on the whole life of their campaign. So, I think that gives you an example of all the places. You can do mnemonics, you can do a song, a one-off, you can do an entire campaign built around a song. So, I guess my end thing for you guys is music can be part of it. Do your research, keep it simple, but know your audience, know your history, know what's going on, and the internet never forgets. So that's all I have for you guys today.
Thanks, Amanda. I don't need this anyway. Thanks, Amanda. Again, let's hear another round of applause. And I know her expertise is phenomenal, so any questions anyone has about using music in advertising or marketing or positioning is welcome to ask. Tim?
I was just wondering about the songs. If, say, like me, a small company wants to use something, is there a time that the price of using a song goes down, or how does that actually work? 'Cause some, I'm sure, are very expensive.
That's a really common question, and we have kind of a sarcastic answer to that. How much does a piece of music cost is how long is a piece of string? It could be anything, and it's so funny how sometimes songs you think, oh, that song is so big, there's no way my little company can afford that, and you go out there and ask, and they haven't licensed it in a while or ever, and they'll give it to you for a reasonable price if you work with them, or maybe, I know you were mentioning earlier the nonprofit. Sometimes it's a nonprofit, and the artist likes that nonprofit, they'll work with you. So definitely, if there's a song out there that you want to use for your brand, my advice is to go for it, because you would be amazed people that will work with you. Obviously, sometimes it is out of the price range, and then maybe you can find someone like myself, or someone who's in this, or anybody, and find something close to that, or find another idea. But definitely ask is my advice.
Hi, this is a great topic. You talked about the demonic, or just a short, just a few notes. What's the licensing of those if you borrow that from a specific song that's copyrighted, but yet you're only taking a few notes, and how is that handled?
Right. That can go a couple of ways. If you do that, you could, it could be cheaper because it's not a full song. But if you're lining it up with your brand, and your brand is going to build equity off of that song and its audience, that can make the price actually go up. So it really depends on the brand and how it's being used. So if it's a really known song, it's probably going to be a bit pricey, even though you're using just a small piece. Then you're lining it up.
This is a question about companies, brands using songs without the artist's permission. I was kind of shocked to find out, and there was that thing with David Byrne. Maybe you could say something about that?
There's definitely, sometimes people do use songs. You mentioned an example, but sometimes people use songs and they think, oh, I'm a little company, or they're just going to think we licensed it or something. And people do. They think they can just use it because it's out there. It's not a tangible thing. But people make their living off of this. So you should contact the rights holders and ask them, or have someone like myself contact the rights holders. I'm kind of wired into that network. But it's not a difficult process to just to make sure it's all legally done. If you don't do that, it can come back on you. It really can. It can. Not only would you have to pull it, but you can get sued for using the likeness of songs without permission. So definitely ask for permission. Maybe when you said that, I just cringed. It's like my gut reaction. Ask.
So are we going to be in trouble for videotaping this?
No, you have my permission.
Yeah, as long as you get that on tape.
Actually, I'm a student at the University of Michigan, and I know that for a lot of student organizations and various churches, they use songs in their small productions. Does that count too under the whole copyright thing if it's not for commercial purposes?
Yeah, that's a really good question. If it's for an educational thing, you can use that. I worked at a college radio station, and we would use just a little bit of things, and it's shaky ground. If you're using it to make any kind of income off of it, that's when you're definitely have to get the rights. But if it's just an educational usage, you're using it in a classroom, things like that, that's okay. You can definitely do that.
Do you find already recorded music for clients? And do you find music produced by maybe by local people, somebody who you might work with, who would be like a designated music provider?
We have different people that we go to who, different people who are part of, like they're representative for a music library for 5 artists, or 20 artists, or maybe just, they make their own music. And so part of my job is that being connected, being part of just knowing people. I meet people with things like this, different things. They give me their card, and when I have a job, I go to them and I say, hey, I'm looking for something that sounds like this. And so building that network is definitely part of what I do.
Can you provide any examples of how music is used and branded on the web, and if that's different from television or anything like that?
It's definitely different rights that you have to ask for web rights, but it's definitely similar, especially, it's almost like we know how to use it in broadcast and radio and television, so we use it very similarly in web. I mean, people have it play on their website, a video on their website that's an ad. So yeah, you can definitely do that, and it's powerful, and a lot of times when I license, I can't even think of the last time I listened to a song where they didn't ask for web rights too, because they want to have that commercial or that same feeling on their website. So it makes sense across all platforms to have that same feel.
How about from Mozart? Who owns that?
There's things that are public domain. Happy Birthday is not one of them. People often think it is, and it's not. You can't use Happy Birthday. they actually still own the rights. But there are things that are public domain, and we actually have, a book of them at work, and it's like, this song's kind of old. Is it public domain? And then we look it up. And so there are things that with public domain, you can use it, and you don't, it's out there to the public.
Great job. My name is Chairman Fan. My question actually related with one of the reasons, light, sound, and image. How do you blend these two together artistically? The reason I ask you is for the brand, my product, Tiny Light. You notice that in rock and roll music, they always have flashlight. You also notice that lately they have new programmable lighting with the image and the sound. My product, Tiny Light, can be used as descriptive in the open domain, public gathering. Can also show different colors. So that's the product of Tiny Light. If you can teach me how we use the new social media, social decorative lighting blended with the sound. So that's the question. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. I don't know if I have the answer to that, but it's, I think you said your company does this lighting. Sorry.
Can I just repeat the question?
Sure.
This product, I have to say, this is a new kind of product. It's a lighting device like billboard. However, it's movable, can be carried just holding on here, just like to show some image. But it's a light, can change the color, can change the characters. So the question is, if I try to sell my product and then advertise it, at the meantime, educate the people, look, time to go. Or let's have fun. Those words and the sound, how, do you have any kind of studies and how people do that?
We can talk about that for sure. Yeah, afterwards, I'll give you my card. That seems like a larger conversation.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And then I feel like I'm sucking that all in, and I'm like, it's
Okay.
fun. So yeah, we'll definitely chat afterwards about that.
Sorry, I thought somebody was speaking right there. I had a question too. Let's say for smaller companies that wanted to use a song, but they're kind of worried about the price of buying and everything. Is there a way for them to lower the cost if they also promote maybe the artist or something else? Like when they make an advertisement, maybe at the end of it, they would lower the cost a little bit?
Definitely. You may have noticed on the This Time video that I showed at the end,
Yes.
we had the iTunes icon. We actually, had that song, get it on iTunes, and we had like the Brian and Vander's part on the video, and so that helped, promote him, and so that really, helped bring the price. That was part of negotiating to put that on there. Because we're not just nice, and we like it. It's that's definitely part of negotiating, especially with like newer artists. They want to get their name out there. That's a great way to bargain with them. Hey, we don't have a lot of money, but we'll put your name on it. We'll, feature them in your commercial, or have them mentioned or something like that. I mean, that's definitely a really good bargaining tool.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else?
I was familiar with the Free Press song, not because I ever saw the commercial, but because they used it for their hold music. And around the 7th or 8th minute on hold, I was ready to rip my ears off.
I'm sorry to hear that again.
And so I just wanted to make the point that an intense song like that may be really good for a 15-second spot. It's not good hold music.
Yeah.
When I found myself longing for Kenny G, I knew
Yes.
Anybody else? Not a great question.
We've been talking about licensing. What are the price ranges, the very lowest that you'll likely pay beyond free, and then what are the higher end for what we would expect to be quite expensive? What's the range?
The range, I mean, this is my personal experience licensing songs. I've licensed songs from up-and-coming bands for, a couple hundred, a little under $1,000, and then more established artists, I mean, we've licensed songs for as much as $200,000 upwards of that. I mean, so it's huge. It's a pretty big thing, and so that's why my advice would be, go out there, work with somebody, find out who owns it, and ask, because it's always, and that's what I do. I go to labels, I go to folks and ask, hey, here's what they want to use it for, here's how long, here's whatever, and gave them all the terms, and I go and I ask them. how much would it cost, and we negotiate from there. That's how the process would work. So, it's hard to say, well, if you have $200, it's hard.
I'll ask you a question.
Sure.
We talked a lot about music supervision, but I happen to know that Harvest, you and the team at Harvest do original music as well. So can you quickly, because we only have a few minutes, talk about how the decision might be made between using something that you license or something original, or and then or copying something that sounds like somebody else.
Right. That's the cool thing about Harvest. A lot of people, they either do original music or they just do music for both. So people will come to us and they'll say, I really want this song. I really want, Footloose, and it's a lot of money for Footloose. And so then we'll say, and they're like, we only have this much money, not a lot. We'll say, okay, well, you want kind of 80s feel, and we'll work with them, and we'll actually craft it for that client. We crafted an original song that had a feel that fit their product. It wasn't Footloose. It sounded not really like it, kind of, had 80s feel, and that, kind of the keywords I think was all that was really there at the end. But we definitely can do, original music, and sometimes it's funny, people come in with music supervision and they leave with original music, or they come with original music and then they go, but I kind of like this song too, really like that song, let's get that song. So it's kind of cool because we can do both in-house.
Yeah. Any other questions? Thank you, Amanda. That was awesome. Okay, and as we do at the end, we'll pass the microphone around, and we usually start back, and I'm going to start at the front. Eric? Yeah. The new guy, so that's good. Just stand up and tell us who you are, what you do, and how you might help people here, or how they might help you. Okay?
Eric Backman from, I work at Northwestern Mutual, and I do financial planning. Really how I help people is first by getting an understanding of them and what their goals are and what they're doing in their planning. And then through that, I can really get a feel for what I can either add to help them get to their goals, and I guess provide clarity to show them what it takes to get to their goals. So, the products and services that I provide are investment, insurance planning. That's kind of secondary to, what are your goals and what's it going to take to get there.
I'm Greg Paffel. I'm with Keller Williams Realty. But what drew me here is I know Amanda and a passion for music, and I'm a guitar player, songwriter. So, love the topic. Thank you very much.
I'm Tammy Burgess, as you know, but I also have Last Office, which is shared office space on Miller and First. So if anyone's tired of working out of their house and wants a little space to come to, it's $100 a month, and we're at Miller and First. Thanks.
My name is Chairman Fan. Probably some people already know me. Our company name is Tiny Light World. As I said earlier, we developed a new product called Tiny Air Light. Going to release this 2 months. Hopefully I can show it here, then you guys can understand the question. And the purpose is we want everybody to have a chance to show their business, the information, and something important in the public places. Again, Tiny Light is our product, our company name, Tiny Light World. And one other thing I want to say is the next big thing is somewhere in California, I don't think it's right. Next big thing is among us. But we want to bring our light in 2 months here. Hopefully everybody, entrepreneurs, businessmen, musicians, venture capitalists, we can work together. And not only make this place better place to live, and also make everybody get happy and successful. And my name is Chan Ming. If anybody wants to ask more questions, please come over. I have something to show. Thanks.
Hi, my name is Jane Delancey, Delancey Design, and we do design for marketing and communications. What we're looking for is small businesses or entrepreneurs that are anxious to get their message out or are unhappy with what they have. Jane Delancey, Delancey Design. Thanks.
I am Kevin Brown. I work for the University of Michigan. I write for them. A lot of communications folks over here with them. And I play music. 3 bands around town. Play solo too. Singer, songwriter, guitar.
Hi, I'm
Nicole Rhodes. I'm the web designer for the U of M News Service, and I'm an open source media enthusiast.
I'm Roger Rail. I do video and other things.
I'm Bob Shannon. I've got my own CPA firm, and I specialize in helping small businesses grow and remain compliant, pay their legal minimum. 734-475-4351.
I'm also a new guy here. My name's Mike Consiglio. Just getting my start in search marketing right now, finishing up my MBA, but also very much a music enthusiast. So this meeting I thought was very interesting. So.
Hi, Tom Crawford. I do several things. One is I have a cooking app for the iPad and iPhone called VizChef, so check that out, VIZCHEF. If you need to learn how to cook better or you know somebody who could use some help in the kitchen, check it out. Also, as part of my work, I'm a speaker coach. And from that, this Friday is TEDx Lansing. For anybody who wants to take the trek up there, it's 9 to 5 basically. Or it's also going to be live streamed, so you can check it out at TEDxLansing.com.
Are you presenting, Tom?
I am not, but there are 12 or 13 really amazing presenters doing some really unique topics, so it should be fun.
Thank you.
My name is Nabil Ansara. I'm a music composer and engineer. Actually, I'm also a DJ as well. I work for a company called LA2M Music, where we provide you original music for all your campaigns. Everything that Amanda was saying was right on point. With the hip hop to the R&B, knowing what you got to do, and that's what we do. We can provide you with original music for all your compositions. And I did one project in 2004 that was a life changer. Working with the Fortune 500 companies, they have a huge budget. I've always produced music for rappers on a national level, and working with them was okay, but doing one campaign for GM totally changed the game. Actually made me start a company, LA2M Music, that now we just compose music for commercials and ad agencies. So it's a very lucrative business if you know what you're doing.
Hello, my name is Lauren Schneider. I recently started an internship at Ingenex, digital marketing. I'm going to be graduating next year from Central Michigan with a major in public relations, and that's my first meeting.
Hi, my name is Amanda Butcher. I am the LA2M intern.
My name is Abe Kadushin. I'm an architect here in Ann Arbor since 1974. Specialize in basically nonprofit work in Detroit affordable housing. My favorite project right now is working on the historic McGregor Public Library in Highland Park on Woodward, if any of you are familiar with it. We're trying to convert it into a library for the performing and media arts. Not a futuristic library that would help stimulate economic development through performing and media arts. Sorry I missed the early part of your presentation. Also, since about 1975, I am a unabashed househead. I'm an old househead. So I was around here in Ann Arbor. My office was up the street when the electrifying mojo, I don't know if any of you are familiar with it. He actually started, he was a dropout law student from the U of M, and he started in the radio station in the Hustles building and moved on, obviously, but that's when I started listening to him. And I didn't know there was such a thing as house music or techno until I actually met a lot of these folks in Detroit. And Derek May and Kevin Summers. I was listening to their music, didn't know there was such a thing. And I think it's one of the area's greatest assets and exports that has yet to be capitalized upon. Thank you.
I'm Scott, recent MBA and exploring career path. So I love the music industry. It makes you feel something.
Hi, my name is Gabby Park. I'm a senior at the University of Michigan. I study various other things. I'm actually an intern at Beatles Web Services, which I think Amber will tell you more about. But basically, we do a lot of different web design or marketing services. We help analyze
for marketing, planning, strategy, etc. And I also am the director of programming for this student nonprofit called Arts Enterprise that tries to promote creativity in business. So if any of you want to collaborate with us on projects or events, that would be great.
Hi, I'm Stacy from Dollarville Copying. We're your local digital print shop. And along with music, you need printed pieces too. And I agree. I love music because it makes me feel in that Detroit news commercial I cried. Because it makes you feel.
Hello, I'm Amber, VC Web Design. I'm also here for two reasons. First reason is I work for VC Web Design, just like Gabby just said. We do marketing, social media. Social media is big right now. We also educate people how to use the social media tools. Do anything from marketing to web design, basically. Also here too, because I have a strong love for the music industry. I love to like correlate how an artist is gonna, artist is gonna benefit from the music as well as, an advertisement. There's a lot of research behind it, and I actually just maxed out my Pandora list last week. So yeah, so if you have any questions, feel free to contact me.
Hi, I'm Rhonda from Bank of Ann Arbor, and this is Sandra Andrade. We're here because music can help a bank be cool. We are announcing Sonic Lunch, which kicks off it's free music in Liberty Plaza every Thursday, starting June 2nd through August 25th. So come on down, we've got schedule cards, we've got some of the coolest bands lined up here, and I also have some more swag for you guitar players. I now have Sonic Lunch picks.
Hi, I'm Debbie Eater, and I'm membership and development for a local theater troupe, PTD Productions, and it stands for Petey the Dog, so that's from Little Rascals. And I started to think about the music, so this has been really helpful to help promote its volunteer theater for 17 years in Ipsy. Thanks so much.
Hello everyone, my name is John Rosebeer and I'm an inventor. I've invented a clock. You might or might not know about it. It's on the Ann Arbor Chronicle. You can see it every day there. I've got a model here for the iPhone. We have a PC model. We've been working on this, I've been working on the clock for around 40 years. We're trying to sell it. And we haven't made a great success yet.
Hi, Jay Deeds with Loving Works here in Ann Arbor. We market the products, the health and wellness products of Dr. Kyle Morgan, who is the most unknown and secretive osteopath in Ann Arbor. We're looking for individuals who have trouble sleeping for a sleep aid test, all natural product that we'll be testing here next month.
Hi everybody, I'm Doug Klein. Thanks man, that was awesome. Love this topic. By day, I work for Fleming Artists down the street, music agency. We actually represent Brian Vanguard, who had the Food Fest campaign. And by night, I'm a composer, music supervisor, and production guru, and love to talk to Amanda some more about composition for Harvest. Thanks again.
My name is Chris Grant. I work for a company called Enlighten here in Ann Arbor, full service interactive agency. I think we might be the second biggest one in Ann Arbor, not really sure. And I'm not going to sing. What I do is a thing called Web Analytics. And if you even know what Web Analytics is, I'd love to talk to you because I'm trying to get more people around here to talk shop about that. Basically, we're the people who are charged with finding out if the advertising and marketing really worked.
So you're getting played off there for a minute.
I'm Carter Sherman from Arctic Studios. I'm a commercial editorial and portrait photographer, which means I shoot just about everything except for weddings. And I do some video too, but I don't do any editing or camera work. So I had a little experience with music and copyright and such. Yeah, I remember Mojo. I used to listen to the Midnight Funk Association way back. I remember to a party here in Michigan. It looked like a cousin kid. The guy was about 5'1" and he had 6 feet of hair.
Oh, the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah, it was an experience.
Yeah, his name is Charles Johnson. Actually, I do a radio show every Saturday from at WAM. Well, we're looking for him actually for a whole bunch of other reasons.
I can help you.
Yeah, Austin, whatever. Anyway, anyone knows where the Electrifying Mojo is?
Yeah, I know he is.
Let us know.
He's still around.
Yeah. All right, anyway, thanks again, Amanda. Awesome subject. You might watch this at home, but I know we're getting out of here on time. Great group. Thanks for coming out today. Please remember to come next week, every Wednesday at noon. And that'll do it for today's LA2M. Thanks.
So,